Yes, I'm a witch. All my friends are witches. And we're just waiting for the perfect moment to come down on all this town and claim it in the name of Lucifer.
Okay.
That's an opening for our podcast. It's a quote from Bewitched. just wanted to throw it in.
That's Bewitched?
Yeah, that's an actual quote from Bewitched.
Okay.
The 60s was fun. It was a good time. So how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another Evening with the Peppered Sausage podcast with Chris and Ethan. The classic duo. Holding it together. Stitching together the fabrics of time.
One day at a time.
Exactly. The yin and the yang.
Which one of us is which?
Oh.
I can never remember which one of those is which.
Yin is good, and yang is bad, if you want to break it down into that. But it's not necessarily always broken down into that.
It's not really good or bad. It's just like dark.
That's one way to look at it, though. That's why there's like a white section and a dark section, but then the white section has a little bit of the dark section in it. That's like the idea that good would always have bad in it, if you put it in that framework.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works with different things. So that's a lesson in Taoism.
It's all about yang, or balance.
Exactly. Balance. It's
bringing balance to the force.
Which coincidentally is the only real spiritual concept that I could get behind it all. It makes perfect sense. The good and the bad. You're born and you die. There's a good and a bad. Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
The Jedi need to learn about Yin Yang.
Exactly.
Maybe they wouldn't have all got wiped out if they knew about that.
I thought that was from Yin Yang, like you were saying. It was balance. They had to all be.
Yeah, except the Jedi didn't actually promote balance. They were all for the Yang.
Yeah.
They thought Yang was something to be shunned and to get kept at arm's length as much as possible. That's
why it's going to take 9 movies to teach that lesson. That's the whole thing. Eventually they're going to learn it. And it'll be great. Because Ray will be there, and Finn will probably be there. He'll probably make it, I'm thinking. Yeah. Jabba the Hutt might show up again. It'll be pretty cool.
Jabba the Hutt's dead.
No! There could be other Hutts. There could be Jabba the Hutt Jr.
Actually, there is a Jabba the Hutt Jr. His name's not Jabba the Hutt Jr., but Jabba the Hutt does have a son.
I knew he had like that wife, or am I just imagining that? Isn't there like a girl Hutt that shows up in episode 1?
Yeah. She doesn't, like, it never refers to her by name or anything, but yeah, he does have a wife. I'm trying to remember what the baby's name is. Totally. Let's see.
Gilroy the Hutt.
Nah, it's like Yada or something like that.
Yada the Hutt.
Some weird thing. Let's see.
Fucking Jabba. Ew. Like, where is this dick? How does that happen?
Well, I mean, they're slugs.
So it's just extra nasty.
So
they have like snake sex.
How do slugs reproduce?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
Maybe like worms. Which then there wouldn't even need to be. I don't know.
Rhoda. That's his name.
Rhoda?
Rotta.
Okay.
Rhoda. Rhoda the Hutt.
If it was Rhoda with a D, that would sound like some kind of sitcom woman. It'd be weird. Rhoda.
Rota.
Oh, okay. Jabba the Hutt Jr. Yeah, he could show up. He could be Snoke.
There's a whole arc in the Clone Wars cartoon. Well, technically, they made this whole arc into the theatrical movie that they released before the cartoon came out.
Yeah.
Even though it takes place, like, after certain episodes. The whole first like 2.5 seasons of Clone Wars is like all out of order because they made it all without having any kind of like seasonal structure to it.
Okay.
So when it actually got put on TV, they aired it all out of order.
Let's check and see if Tweak was in there.
But in the movie that they released, that they put together, because they decided, hey, let's just make a movie at the end of this.
That's the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon. Rhoda gets kidnapped.
Is Rebels a different cartoon?
Yes, they are separate cartoons.
I haven't had TV in long
Clone Wars takes place in between episode 2 and 3.
Okay.
During the Clone Wars. Which, it's like, cool, and there are points where you're sitting there like, because you know what happens, you're like, no! Yeah. Like, you get to watch as Palpatine slowly gathers more and more power into his position.
Well, you already had plenty of chances to get pissed off at that for the first 3 movies.
Yeah, but it's like...
Even as a little kid, I
But now
understood what was going on.
Spread out amongst fucking 6 seasons.
We probably don't need that top thing now. It's just getting the fuck away. Yeah.
But yeah, spread out over like 6 seasons. Spoiler alert, there's like one episode where a clone, one of the clone troopers, finds out about Order 66 and is trying to warn everyone, but everyone thinks he's gone crazy. Oh, yeah. And he like ends up getting killed at the end.
Idiots.
And it's like the most tragic thing ever because you want him to succeed so badly, but you know he won't.
See, this is why I don't think spoilers really matter. You just pointed out something that I've been saying this whole time. It's knowing things ahead of time does not instantaneously make you not like the things. Seeing everything get filled in between.
I'm not saying you necessarily are going to not like the things. Like, there's certain things that I don't care about spoilers. Like Game of Thrones, I'm not a huge carer for spoilers because I know I'm going to get certain things spoiled for me with Game of Thrones. But then there's other things that it's like, it's not about that you know you're not going to like it. You just want to be surprised when it happens.
Well, because usually the movies that I like wind up being ones that I find out the ending of first. And then I go and see the movie because I decided, okay, that's probably going to be cool. And then I go check it out. All my favorite movies are like that. I knew exactly what was going to happen first. Just seeing it happen, though, is different. It's not good enough. I don't know. I don't consider that being ruined.
Someone's knocking on the door. Hello.
What's good? No, he comes over Friday. See, everybody's got the schedule all week. He comes over Friday for the Frankie and Joey shoot.
Oh, all right.
Which is for the Peppered Sausage movie, which is still in progress, still cruising along. Got to check out the Instagram to get the behind-the-scenes, material from that, so you can see that we're not bullshitting you. Just letting you know.
And we're definitely filming more than just one sketch.
Oh yeah, yeah. It might look like that right now too, but give it like 1 more week, like 2 more weeks. There'll be other stuff on there. We got all kinds of great treasures coming.
Just one sketch is taken like forever to film.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Well, it's the longest one.
technicality.
It's the longest and it's got the most different locations.
Yeah. Technicalities. Oh, I did come up with a beautiful piece of dialogue for the end of it too. I gotta tell you after this. I don't want to give it away.
All
I
right.
can't with yesterday. Oh, it's gonna be good though. Yeah, that was my mom. Everybody, she is our still photographer. Hopefully that doesn't make me look like some kind of weirdo. Yeah, she's the still photographer. Runs the Instagram. In case you were wondering why it does not seem like I'm writing any of the shit on there. That's why. Because she does.
And why all the pictures actually look good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's some still missing from that, though. We still haven't put up the one of your legs missing.
Oh, yeah.
That was fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Since we're just talking about spoilers.
Yeah.
My legs are missing in one scene.
There you go, yeah.
But yeah, there's like I said, there's certain things that I don't care about being spoiled, but there's certain things that I do. Like the Marvel movies. I don't want to be spoiled. Same thing with the Star Wars movies, probably.
No, of course. I don't want the Star Wars movies to be ruined. I don't know why, though. It would not make me want to see them less, but I totally, with certain things, like with Game of Thrones, too, and with this new Star Wars movies, I don't want anybody else knowing about what happens before me. No.
Uh-huh.
I need to know at the same time. I live on the East Coast, too, so if it's TV, I always get to see it first. That's just the rule.
Same here.
Yeah.
That's why I see like all the Marvel movies opening night if I can.
Exactly.
Because I don't want anything to get spoiled. Funny thing, so I don't want anything to be spoiled, but I have no problem looking up theories that might be true.
Yeah.
I love looking up different theories for different things. Like for Star Wars, who are Rey's parents? So I know almost every single fucking theory that's out there about who Rey's parents are.
The ultimate mystery of anything. We'll just take one character and make
there's a
their
very
parents
good chance that one of them is true. And if that is the case, that means technically it was spoiled, but I like being able to if I see all these different things, then I can choose which one I think is the most likely.
Well, I guarantee you
and then
one of them is true.
Then I'll be like, oh, I called it.
Because, just now that everybody knows about this Jon Snow thing. And if you don't, you're just years behind. Because the point is, people have been saying that shit for years. And years, and years, and years, and years, who his parents were. One of those theories is definitely right.
Yeah.
It's just buried underneath all that other bullshit. People are smart enough now, and the internet makes it so like everybody in the world can collaborate on figuring some shit like this out.
Funny thing about that, Rick and Morty had a similar thing.
Really?
Apparently, there was like some big secret that they had at the beginning of Rick and Morty that they were going to reveal eventually sometime during the series.
Uh-huh.
But then they saw someone have that as one of their theories on a fan site, and they're like, "Well, okay," but they haven't really done it. They haven't said whether or not they're going to keep it or that, and they didn't say which theory it is. But I think what I think it is the theory that that Morty is not that Rick's Morty.
Well, I thought that was already the thing, because doesn't the original Morty get killed and buried by the other Morty anyway?
No.
Who does he bury?
They bury another Morty. They ruin their universe.
Yeah.
And then find another universe where it didn't get ruined. They ended up fixing the problem, but then are killed immediately afterwards.
Yeah,
so
blown up by that thing. Right?
They show up just after they get blown up and then bury themselves and take their places. But this theory goes, if you remember in the intro, the opening, the theme song, there's that one shot of Rick jumping into a portal and leaving Morty behind to get eaten by monsters.
Yeah.
The theory is that was his original Morty, and he left that Morty to die, and he feels bad. So he found this new Morty that didn't have a Rick, because there's also all the stuff about how this Morty had no idea who Rick was before he showed up to live with them again. But in his memories, when in the episode with the evil Rick and the evil Morty, when they're reading all of Rick's memories, they see a memory of him with baby Morty.
Okay.
So the theory is that evil Morty is his real Morty.
All right.
Who survived the monsters
I'm getting a little bit lost here through all of your trains of thought, but I feel you. I think I get you. Who has the memory with baby Morty?
The main Rick, the one that we follow week to week, has memories of baby Morty. But according to main Morty, Rick never showed up. Rick had been gone since before he was
gone
born.
The entire time.
He was gone the entire time, according to that Morty and that Morty's mom.
Okay.
He's been gone.
Yeah, because she's worth trusting.
True.
Elliot.
So and then evil Rick turned out to be a robot, being controlled by evil Morty. So the theory is that it's actually evil Morty is.
Damn, I gotta watch season 2 again.
Oh yeah, you have to watch season. I've started rewatching it too.
I only watched it that first time through. I do not remember this evil Rick.
That was from the first season.
That's in the first. Oh, I definitely haven't seen that.
That's with the councils of Ricks.
Oh yeah.
The one Rick is going around killing the other Ricks.
Okay. I haven't seen the first season since it first came out. I only watched them both like one time through.
Yeah, there was an evil Rick going around killing other Ricks, and they think it's the main Rick, and try to arrest him, but he and Morty escape, and they find the evil Rick, and get captured.
Okay.
And while he's torturing main Rick and looking at his memories, in one of the memories you see baby Morty, and Rick starts crying when he sees it.
I feel it. That's probably true. And if I mean, like, they just have to do it if it is true, though. Because I'm glad Game of Thrones stuck with it, too. I was worried they were going to try and do some bullshit like, oh, everybody knows it, we're just going to change it. No, you can't, because it's perfect already.
Yeah.
This man, everybody figured it out. It's perfect. You got to keep that.
It's not like wrestling, where Vince McMahon gets super pissed when someone guesses what's going to happen and then changes the entire thing.
Yeah. You can't do that.
Like, there was apparently, like, this whole big thing that was supposed to happen with Christian coming back from TNA for the very first time, years and years ago.
Okay.
And everyone knew that Christian was coming back. And there was supposed to be, like, this big storyline with him and Edge. But then but because people guessed it, Vince decided to change the whole thing and make it super lame.
Yeah.
And Christian just came back, like, a couple weeks after he was supposed to. And then had, like, a completely not related to Edge storyline.
You cannot just on the fly come up with amazing shit like that. Like, I don't know about the WWF version of it, but There's other things, Rick and Morty and Game of Thrones and Ray's parents. People figuring those out, you gotta stick with them. You can't just on the fly change that. Imagine if they, at the last second, would have had to change Darth Vader. They kept that a good secret. Imagine if one guy figured it out and they were like, fuck! And, Lando's Darth Vader, fine.
That's the thing. Actually, I saw a video about this, like, talking about how there was no mystery to Darth Vader.
Yeah, they just gave him a completely different script. I know.
Well, I mean, not even that. Like, until that point, we had never questioned who Luke's dad was, or who Darth Vader really was. We were told who they both were, and never decided to question it. And then when it suddenly was revealed, oh, Luke's dad and Darth Vader are one and the same, then it's like, oh, that's what made it a surprise, because we weren't looking for a surprise.
But also because it was kept a secret.
Unfortunately,
I'm feeling like
J.J. Abrams took that as meaning, oh, everything needs to have a surprise, and I'm going to bait you with the surprise. Because he said that's the moment where he like fell in love with the idea of the mystery box as his thematic device.
The mystery.
That's what he calls it. You show him the box, but you don't tell him what's inside. Which
So J.J.
there was
Abrams'
no
idea is basically, I'm going to go with the most cliched type of device in a movie.
I know. But he says that's the point where he loved the mystery box, but there was no mystery box for Darth Vader's reveal.
There weren't any clues or anything?
No. You were told Darth Vader killed Luke's dad. That was all you were told. There was no bigger mystery behind it.
But you're also told Luke is an orphan.
Not even that. You're not technically told that Luke's an orphan.
Well, he lives with his fucking uncle and stuff.
Well, yeah, but all you're ever told is that his dad is dead and that Darth Vader killed him.
Yeah, I feel that. Okay, maybe bad example.
So there was no box.
Not even necessarily a bad example because it still works for what I was saying.
Yeah.
Somebody still could have figured it out because they just gave him a wrong script. George Lucas's assistant or some shit could have just walked into the office, picked up the wrong script one time that had the real ending in it, and all of a sudden, boom, that shit's leaked. And then George Lucas would have had to been switching it out at the last day. It would have sucked. That's all I'm trying to say. Is that you can't just change awesome parts of the story like that just because people figure it out.
Well, it's also the internet didn't exist then, so it's not wouldn't have been as even if that did happen, that intern would not have been able to spread the word as fast as it can be spread now.
They would have killed his ass. That's what would have happened. They would have been like, do you understand what you just figured out? This is like bigger than some Area 51.
And the thing is, I don't even think that script, the real script, wasn't even written until after the movie was done. They didn't write that part.
They wrote the pages on the day that Luke had to record something that referenced it.
No. They told him. They didn't show him a script. They just told him what is really going to be said.
I heard that he got a script, that everybody got scripts that had a dud ending in it.
Yeah, and then but they didn't give him the real script. They just told him.
On that day, he came in. They gave him the real.
They just told him. Yeah, they didn't give him a script. They just told him. They just pulled him aside and said what Darth Vader's really going to say, so his reaction would be more fitting to what Darth Vader really says.
Well, that's what they really wanted to do. Why'd they tell him at all? It'd be way more surprising if fucking they just didn't tell him shit. That's a classic direction.
Because your reaction to, no, Obi-Wan killed your father, and your reaction to, no, I'm your father, are two different things.
No, I get that, but I'm saying he would have been a lot more surprised if they didn't pull him aside first. He was expecting the Obi-Wan thing, and it would have been completely natural.
Except what happened on set was still the Obi-Wan thing.
What do you mean?
The actor in the Darth Vader suit still said the Obi-Wan line.
Yeah.
So
so they only told
Luke. They only told Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was the only actor. It was George Lucas and the producer. Okay. They both came and took him aside and said, "This is what's really going to happen. Go do it." And then it wasn't until months after the film was finished shooting, when they were recording James Earl Jones lines, that it was actually written down.
I feel it. Alright. I don't know. What if... I don't know.
But James Earl Jones said that he didn't believe it at first. He's like, I'm lying, right?
I'm lying. But he didn't say it. He said it much deeper than that.
I'm lying, right? There's no way that this is true. That was my terrible James Earl Jones impression. This is CNN.
He would probably been a crazy guy.
Remember who you are.
If I was like the guy that had to work with James Earl Jones, like just the studio guy, and he came in and he was like, "What the hell is this bullshit? I'm lying, right?" I'm sorry. What were you saying? I got a little overtaken by that voice there, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, I couldn't. I'd be too scared. I can't think of another movie with a surprising twist though. Like, what if everybody figured out?
That Soylent Green was people.
Or that Bruce Willis was a ghost.
Actually, I totally called that at the beginning of the movie.
A lot of people say that they did. It's not. I mean, like, I totally believe it. I've never seen that movie.
You never seen Sixth Sense?
No, and I never will. Because fuck M. Night Shyamalan. The first one I ever saw was Signs, and then I saw one of the other ones, I don't even remember, The Village or something.
The Village, yeah.
Yeah, and no, I refuse to ever watch one of his movies again. I don't know why I ever watched one after Signs. Signs is fucking trash, dude.
You didn't like Signs?
No, I hate Signs.
I mean, it's not as good as Sixth Sense. They got, like, progressively worse as he went on.
There's nothing, I mean, like, I don't know. I was also a horror movie kid, too. And Signs and The Village both advertised themselves as horror movies. And then when you get there, no. This is a story about how Mel Gibson's weird little kid has asthma, and it's going to save his life from this alien shooting gas into his face. That's the fucking stupidest shit I've ever heard of. And then, well, it was the stupidest shit I ever heard of until they killed the alien by just throwing water on him. That was the stupidest shit I ever heard of. I hated that movie. And that started like the whole hating Mel Gibson thing, pretty much.
What was wrong with The Village?
The ending.
That they were all in modern times?
Yeah. And yeah.
I called that one too.
It was just fucking stupid. Well, that's more impressive. But I just didn't think the whole overall movie was even any good anyway. I mean, it wasn't complete garbage like I'm sitting there going, oh, what the fuck? But it wasn't anything to be happy about. It could have been redeemed by an awesome ending, but then I got that ending and I'm like, no. No, not good enough.
To be fair, Sixth Sense is still a pretty good movie, even if you do know the ending.
I have heard that. I've heard the same thing about Unbreakable. You
Yeah.
don't understand how much I hate
And Unbreakable, the twist in Unbreakable isn't even really like a twist.
No, yeah.
Not like the other ones.
I don't know if I could ever watch one of his movies again.
Unbreakable.
I told you guys not to trust that fucking last Airbender movie, and you didn't listen to me, and you went anyway. I'm right about this guy.
And
His
then
movies are just
and
bad.
then the twist of the last Airbender was that it was a complete garbage.
M. Night Shyamalan can't be trusted. He's no good. He's garbage. Don't ever trust him again. He'll never do anything good.
I wanted to give him a benefit of the doubt because he kept talking about how his daughters were huge fans of the show and that made him a huge fan. So I was like, okay, at least he is a fan of the show.
Did he write it?
The movie?
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the problem. Maybe he's an alright director, but just don't let him write anything. Just don't ever watch anything that he writes. That's the problem. I just think he's bad at that. He's got like some kind of weird idea in his mind. It's just like this J.J. Abrams thing you're talking about. Like ever since The Sixth Sense, this guy just is obsessed with the idea he needs to put in some weird twist you'd never seen coming. But the twists are stupider and stupider because you can't just
keep doing it.
Yeah, you can't just keep striking oil in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work that way.
Especially because the ones that are stupid, like it seems like he's writing the movie around the twist.
Exactly. And he is. You know he is. He probably didn't do that with The Sixth Sense. He probably did write that just straight up. But no. Like this one with the trees. What was that? The Happening? What the fuck is that?
I never even saw that one, so...
Yeah. Owen did. He told me it was just trees are killing people. I don't know what that means, but that's what he told me.
Yeah, that's as much as I know, too. And that there's a scene where Mark Wahlberg tries to talk to a tree.
Well, that should just be the movie. They need to just put Mark Wahlberg in more movies. When are we going to get a Pain and Gain 2, Michael Bay? Stop doing everything else you do, because I don't like it. Make that. That'll be good.
Maybe Bad Boys 3.
You did that? Okay.
Yeah.
Bad Boys is fine. Bad Boys is okay. I'm all about that. I haven't seen that for a long time.
But there's enough Transformers movies by you. You don't need to... Let someone else do Transformers.
He's done them all?
He's did every one.
There's another thing I've never seen. Transformers.
The first two were good. The third one was pretty good. And then it was like, eh.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the fourth one.
Do you hear about, not to just jump around to a million different movies, I love that we're doing that now. Do you hear about how they're doing Mallrats 2?
Yeah, they're doing it as a show.
It's a show?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It's because Kevin Smith and Universal can't agree on something, but then someone offered the idea, let's make it into a series, and then they both like, okay, we can do that.
I wonder what. I can't believe they'd let him do it in the first place. Do you know what happened to Mallrats when it first came out?
Nah, what?
It was in theaters for one weekend, and it got pulled. And that never happened. Think of another movie that's happened to.
Gem and the Holograms.
Okay. Anything else? I'm just saying, like, you say that, that's such an out-of-nowhere fucking movie. Nobody knows that movie. Like, yeah. Okay.
That was kind of the problem. It came out, like, I saw so much promotion for it and everything. And then...
Is that a recent thing?
Yeah, it came out a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's also based on, like, some shit that... It's just too far of a distance from when that mattered.
Well, also at the same time, apparently, I never watched the original cartoon, but according to people who did watch the original cartoon, it had nothing to do with the original cartoon other than it was about a band called Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah.
Like in the original cartoon, they were actual holograms.
Well, like the gorillas? This thing invented the gorillas first?
I don't know. But, like, and it's all, like, sci-fi and stuff originally, and this one is not sci-fi at all. It's just about this teenage girl who starts a band with her friends. And then she starts getting, like, big, and the market company wants her to go solo and screw her friends over and all this. It's, like, the most cliched, like, music industry movie you've ever heard, just named after a 1980s cartoon.
Okay.
But
like
then it broke the record for the worst opening weekend ever.
Damn. What is it?
I have to look that up, but yeah, not off the top of my head.
The worst
opening weekend ever, and then they pulled it.
Yeah, that's basically what happened with Mallrats. Nobody saw Mallrats.
Not even Molly Ringwald could save it.
Molly Ringwald.
Who also wasn't relevant since the 80s.
Yeah, they just had that all wrong. Maybe they were trying to go for some, like, Tarantino thing. No, we're bringing back all these old people now. No. Not gonna work. They just shouldn't make band movies like that. That's, like, such an overplayed thing. You might as well just make ski lodge movies with, like, a rich guy that's coming in to buy the mountain. It's the same fucking thing. There's so many of that. I can't believe they let him make anything with Mallrats. I guess it makes sense they'd let him make a TV show.
Yeah. They still haven't,
How the fuck are they going to do that, though? I've told you this, I'm sure, but like Jason Lee is a Scientologist. I've told you that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's going to make it harder to do anything. I don't know. It seems like that's usually what happens when people become Scientologists. But I don't know. Like, apparently that lady from King of Queens was a Scientologist, and they did that show. But there's like a thing in there. If you're somebody that says anything bad about Scientology at all, ever, then, like, they brand you as, like, somebody that everybody else in Scientology is not allowed to talk to. I don't know. It's problem causing. For making
just so you know, Gem and the Holograms made $1,375,000
on a weekend.
In 1 weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not very good. Look at Mallrats.
I'm looking at, like, the whole list of worst. Then it's Rock the Casbah, We Are Your Friends, P2, Major League, Back to the Minors, Spider-Man / Men in Black 2. I guess they're tied.
Spider-Man? Like, which Spider-Man?
It just says Spider-Man, so I'm not sure. It says they're both by Sony, so maybe it must be the first one.
Really? I actually thought that was okay.
He must have made up for it in the later weekends. If it's on this.
Well, that was before comic book movies.
That's true.
Thing. That was one of the first ones coming out.
College. Just College. Adventures of Pluto Nash, Band Slam, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. Man, I don't even see Mallrats down here.
No, that might not be one of the worst, but it did get pulled very quickly. There's probably been a lot worse movies.
Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return.
There's a sequel?
You didn't know about that?
No, I didn't know about that.
There's a sequel and it's creepy as fuck.
What is it? What happened?
Not even intentionally being creepy. It's from I think the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
And it's just Dorothy. It starts off with Dorothy in an insane asylum, first of all.
Oh, I gotta get this movie.
And then
The
she
Legend of Oz.
And then she goes back and makes a whole bunch of new friends. And has to
who are also not real.
Go and do some stuff. Like there's like a clockwork soldier. It's actually kind of funny. Like they are kind of supposed to be. They have similarities to the original Three Friends, but not at the same time. Like there's a clockwork soldier instead of a Tin Woodsman.
Okay.
There's I forget what he's called. He's not called Scarecrow, but he's basically Scarecrow with a pumpkin head.
Jack Skellington.
And then there's a living moose head, like mounted moose head, that like whatever he's on, he like can use as a body. Like
that is hard.
Through most of the movie, he's like just mounted on the end of a bed.
What the fuck? That's like Alice in Wonderland level stuff.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. I heard that did terrible too. Apparently.
The first one or the second one?
The one didn't they just put one out?
Yeah, that was the second one.
Yeah, that one apparently did terrible, or it got really horrible reviews. Tim Burton has just got to get back to not making fucking movies that are
kid friendly.
Like mostly Like Ed Wood is like the best goddamn Tim Burton movie. Well, all right, there is Nightmare Before Christmas, but he didn't direct that. That's why I say that. So everybody out there knows. Just in case you don't know. Tim Burton didn't have time to direct that. Some other guy did. The guy that made James and the Giant Peach. That's not a Tim Burton movie. That's Tim Burton drawings used to make a movie.
Did he write the script? I thought he wrote the script at least.
He worked on it. He didn't write any of the songs either.
Well, yeah, I knew he didn't write the songs.
Yeah. He worked on it. Hold on, I got it right over here. Or you can just look it up. I'll look that shit up. Yeah, no. He couldn't work on it, like, at all. He was doing something else. He wanted to, but the studio wanted to go ahead and do it.
And not wait for him.
Yeah, he was like, okay. I don't even think he got to write, really. I think what it is like, I'm going to look in a second, but I'm pretty sure he made up a story, and he drew the characters, and then they did everything else.
Okay, yeah. Based on story and characters by Tim Burton.
Yeah, there you go. So he came up with the basic idea, and then those guys wrote the script for it.
Henry Selick was the one who directed it.
But yeah, so Ed Wood, I think. Or Mars Attacks. Mars Attacks is damn good, too. Both the not kid-friendly Tim Burton movies. That's what I'm saying.
What about Sweeney Todd?
Also amazing. Sweeney Todd. Ed Wood's better, though, I think.
That's at least a more recent one where he did that wasn't for kids.
Yeah. Sweeney Todd's one of my favorites. I had never heard of that musical at all, though. Maybe if I had, I wouldn't have been so surprised. I didn't. That was the first time, because you've been doing this acting shit forever. That was the first time I found out that there were musicals like that. I had no idea.
You thought they were all happy-go-lucky, like fucking
or like
Footloose or some shit?
Or like real political, like I knew that Rent had a whole lot of things that were serious in it. I don't have any idea really what Rent's about, but
it's a bunch of assholes, basically.
Okay.
I hate Rent. Just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
It's about a bunch of people who are assholes. And basically, it's these guys who live in this like loft or some shit, and this guy who used to live with them is now rich and owns the building and just wants them to pay rent. And they're like, no, we don't want to pay rent. And so they go and do all this stuff so they don't have to pay rent. And then there's AIDS involved.
Oh,
and
see, I knew there was something
it's just a bunch of people trying to live this bohemian lifestyle and then not being able to. And then, like, the main guy, I don't even remember the main guy. Mark's the main guy.
Okay.
I guess. If anyone's the main guy, it's Mark. And he's like, he wants to be a filmmaker, but he doesn't want to be like a commercial filmmaker. And then he gets a job, like an actual job that he can use to pay for things, like being a cameraman for a news channel, and then he's like doesn't like doing it because he has to do what other people say, and so he quits. And then it's just all such bullshit. Pretentious. That's the word I'm looking for. Pretentious bullshit.
Yeah, that doesn't sound cool at all. I knew there was shit like that though.
And the only character that is has any kind of like goodness and redeeming qualities about them is Angel, the cross-dressing guy that the one guy that lives with him falls in love with. Okay. But then she dies of fucking AIDS.
No shit. See, I knew there was like gay stuff involved too. That's all I remember about that. It was a big political thing.
Like, you take the one good character and you kill him. Like, just a little over halfway through.
It does sound shitty. And the rest of it is all just people bitching about how they have to pay money.
Well, then it's like someone else gets AIDS, and then it's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Somebody else. What is this, kids?
Yeah.
They're ripping off Harmony Korine now? That's dirty. Rip off Harmony Korine like that. He was 19 years old and wrote that shit. I hope you're proud of that. 19 years old and high and wrote that shit.
Yeah. But then there's other awesome musicals. Like fucking, I was telling you earlier, Urinetown is a pretty good musical.
It does sound funny. A musical about pee. It does sound funny. A musical that titles itself with a pun about pee is even better, I think. I like that.
And it's real funny because it's got a dual narrator. It's this little girl named Little Sally and Officer Lockstock, and it's basically the narration is just him explaining stuff to Little Sally. Yeah. And at one point there's like a mob scene, and they're like, oh, and Officer Lockstock is also a character within the show too. Okay. And he's a bad guy within the show. And Little Sally's like, aren't you afraid that they're going to get you? He's like, I'm the narrator, Sally. And nothing bad ever happens to the narrator.
Except in Sin City. There's another movie that did terrible. They keep coming up.
Sin City, the first one did pretty good.
Yeah, the second one did terrible.
Yeah, the second one did terrible.
The second one I've seen on lists of the worst movies ever made somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, if you like the first Sin City, you like this one.
I feel it. I never saw it yet. I kept meaning to.
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I think they just added it recently. But yeah, I mean, if you like the first Sin City, you'll like this one, I think.
I'll tell you what I don't like. Fucking Eli Roth's movie. That cannibal movie that I waited 6 fucking years for. 4 years, I guess. That movie's no good. I don't like it. It's called Green Inferno.
Yeah.
No good.
No good?
No good.
No.
It's weird. There's like weird shit like they get the cannibals high by stuffing all this weed they just happen to have on them inside of a body, and then the cannibals eat the weed body and then they get high, which is like the most ridiculous thing anyway, and then it gets goofy with it and they're all like goofy high and shit. No. And like I've told Ian about this before too, that I really didn't like is the main like horrible thing, because like Eli Roth's always got that. There's like the virus, or like, you know, you're going to get locked in that room, people are going to cut you into pieces. The big thing is, all these tribes guys are going to hold this one chick down and just cut up her vagina. And that's like the whole thing. And it's all about that, and that just seemed weird to me. I didn't like that. Which is something they do in real life too, and that seemed also weird to me. I was like, yeah, it's like a thing. But those people and tribes down there don't do that kind of stuff, I don't think. I think it's like an African tribe thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I didn't like that part of it either. No. Female circumcisions.
They talk about that in the Book of Mormon.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucked up. You gotta be careful talking about that too. Fucking Vincent Van Gogh's nephew got his head cut off for making a movie about that in Amsterdam. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that happened in real life. Fucking Theo Van Gogh made a movie like that with a Middle Eastern, like, she's a woman, and she was, I don't know, what am I saying? Protesting. Yeah, they made a movie together. And this guy, he was just cruising around in Amsterdam, this dude just rolled up to him and fucking cut his head off. In the street, in broad daylight. And then the woman went into hiding and shit. Man, that's what it was about. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that shit.
Well,
Eli
that was
Roth's
also
making movies.
that was also back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, when there wasn't... No, it wasn't in the early 1900s.
If it was Vincent Van Gogh's nephew.
Vincent Van Gogh's nephew, yeah.
Vincent Van Gogh was around turn of the century.
Yeah, I feel you. No, this guy died... I'll show you. He died in, like, the 90s or the 80s or something like that. This is, like, a video he made. Not even a movie. Let's look up Theo Van... I'm sure that's his name. Well, that's Van Gogh's brother's name. Hold on. Let me get this name for you.
Did you hear about the movie about Vincent Van Gogh that is being entirely painted?
No, but that sounds sweet. Is it going to be like... You mean like animated?
Yeah, it's animated, but each frame is an actual painting that they actually painted out in the style of Vincent Van Gogh.
Okay.
No, like, computer assistance or anything.
Is it over top of frames of actual people?
I think so. I think they're basing it on frames of actual people, but I think they're like painting the frames. They're not like painting on top of the frames.
Yeah, Theo Van Gogh. He died in 2004. Hold on a second. Okay, so he's his great grandnephew.
Okay, that makes
Vincent
more sense.
Van Gogh. Yes, he died in 2004, and he's from like the Netherlands and shit, and he's got killed in the street for doing that.
I'm trying to remember the name of that movie. I'll look it up later and show you the trailer. It's really cool.
It does sound
And it's like not even done yet, they said. They're like still looking for artists to come in and help paint.
I wish I was that good.
I know.
I do paint kind of in the same style he does, but I wouldn't try and paint things that somebody else painted and copy them. There's no fun in that. It's too hard.
But you should totally check out the Book of Mormon. At least the soundtrack. The soundtrack alone.
I
is
do need
hilarious.
to check that out. Well, I just love Trey Parker anyway.
Yeah.
That dude's just awesome. I'll watch anything he does. It's just you can't really watch musicals without going there. So I don't know how. Can you watch videos of musicals?
Well, you can download the soundtrack, which you get the basic plot of the show from the soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's actually I don't know exactly what it's called.
They should just
You can try.
fucking
You can
film
probably.
it.
They do film it. There's a new service that apparently is like Netflix but for Broadway.
Dude, see, we should have thought of that. Why the fuck didn't we think of that? That would have been great.
I did think of it, and then I looked it up, and someone was already developing it.
That would have been great. That wouldn't even been hard to do either. Damn it! We got to get one of these ideas. We only need $1 million idea, and we're good. No, then I can see it.
But yeah, so I'm sure you can probably torrent a copy of it or something like that, since that's what you do.
Sometimes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure you can find it recorded. It's pretty funny. There's a song called what's it called? It's some African word. But it's supposed to be like Hakuna Matata type thing, that they're just like singing it and talking about it, all this stuff. And then Josh Gad's character is like, "Oh, this is great. What does it mean? Is it like Hakuna Matata?" And it's like, "Well, I guess the closest translation in English would be fuck you, God." And they're like, "What?" Yeah, it's something weird. I'll look it up what it is, but it's just a great show. You need to see it.
I do. They need to make another movie too. I miss those movies. Team America. Oh, Team America, World Police. What a movie. What a brilliant idea that me and Ian had to go and buy tickets to, what was it, Fahrenheit something?
Fahrenheit 9/11.
Something like that, yeah, I think. And we went to Team America instead. Or no, it was that fire movie about the firefighters. It wasn't Fahrenheit 9/11. What the fuck was it? It was
World
Ladder
Trade
49.
Oh, Ladder 49.
Ladder 49, yeah. Bought that shit and we walked in, there was nobody in that theater, and we were just like, huh! See ya. We're not going to be in here either. Team America. And when we did it, E-Dog thought it'd be a brilliant idea. And actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I did too. We both were wearing South Park shirts. Those people totally knew what we were doing. That was the olden days.
Hasadiga Ibawai. Hasadiga Ibawai. Fuck you, God.
That sounds great. It does make me mad, though, because right around the time that I was hearing about this Book of Mormon, Andrew told me a little bit about the plot. And right around that time, I was working on this little short that I was calling Jungle Church. Fucked the whole thing up. They got that. See ya. No more Jungle Church. Mine was going to be like, there was these jungle guys that had a church, but then there were these robot guys that built a church right next door that just had like parties and nightclub shit all the time, and that was Robot Church. And Robot Church just always made fun of them for having a stupid church. That was like the whole joke. Robot Church. It would have been funny.
What did they believe in Robot Church?
We never said. It was really just that they wanted to fuck with these serious missionaries the whole time. They probably didn't believe in anything. They're robots.
You should also check out Avenue Q.
I do know about that.
Did you come and see me in that?
No.
Asshole.
I don't know.
That was back at GCC.
Yeah. No, I'll come to more. I didn't know. I didn't really know.
I was Trekkie Monster in that.
I really did not like theater. I'm still not crazy about it, but I'll come see some of these weird plays. That seems fine with me.
You should totally come and see Yo Short Man.
Oh yeah, you're short, man. That does sound okay.
The play I'm in that will be in the first ever New Jersey Fringe Festival, August 5th through 7th.
That didn't even dawn on me.
In Hamilton, New Jersey.
It's a Fringe festival, like isn't that like the Austin thing?
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of places with a whole bunch of plays. They're all in walking distance of each other. And you can just go around, look at the schedule, like, oh, we'll see this play, this, and then we'll go see this play, and you pay one fee, and you get to go see all of them.
Yeah. See, after we get this movie done, we gotta try to get into things like that too, and just see if we can bring our own projection screen if they don't have one. We can just buy one; they're not that much.
Yeah, Yo Short Man, for those not in the know, is a play written by a friend of the show, A.J. Duane.
Who was on an episode.
And it is about the Hank Arnold characters all grown up.
Yes, and we'll see how fast he gets sued.
He won't get sued because he titled it Yo Short Man, an unauthorized parody.
No, there you go.
And he talked to Craig Bartlett, the creator.
Aren't you allowed to do stuff like that on stage anyway?
It's murky, but he did talk to the people he needed to talk to. He actually originally Nickelodeon did send him a cease and desist letter at one point when he was writing it after he had talked to Craig Bartlett, because apparently some idea he had was close to something they were planning on doing.
Okay.
But then they sent him another letter. It's like, never mind, you can do it.
Never mind, you're good, bro. You're good.
So he got it into the New Jersey Fringe Festival as part of Aftershock Entertainment, which is a production company that a friend of ours runs. And they have two plays. They have that one and another one, and I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember what the other one's called.
Well, doing them a great service here.
But it was written by Josh Kurtz, who is the friend of ours that runs Aftershock Entertainment.
Okay.
He's also the one who wrote the play that I was just in, The Last Moment.
With the Venom costume?
No. The different one. The Last Moment was the one where the little girl's parents are killed, and then she trains to become an assassin to hunt down and kill the guy who killed her parents.
Oh, sweet. Assassins are cool. I'm always down with a good assassin tale. Being woven from the threads of dreams. I'm down with that.
But yeah, for everyone interested, come to the New Jersey Fringe Festival, August 5th through 7th. and see Yo Short Man, amongst other great plays, at the New Jersey Fringe Festival in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Hamilton.
I think it's I want to say it's $40 for the whole weekend, and you get to see as many shows as you can in that 3 days. $25 if you just go Saturday, and then $20 if you just go Friday or Sunday. So come on out and check out some theater.
Are there brews?
There will be like beer fountains and food trucks and all kinds of
What?
like it's a whole festival.
Okay.
In Hamilton, New Jersey, that just has a bunch of different venues. I think it's like 16 different venues, all playing shows.
Sweet. How do they have 16 venues that close to each other?
I don't know.
Man.
I've never been to Hamilton, New Jersey, so I couldn't tell you.
I never have been either. Some kind of weird, fucking backwoods, crooked New Jersey. You people better be careful when you go up there. That's all I'm saying. There's gonna be good shows, but I don't know who these Hamilton creeps are. They could be anybody. I'm sorry if any of you are from Hamilton, but I mean I don't know you. You gotta make a good first impression on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Alright. So another news.
Almost All My Heart. That's the other show by Aftershock
Okay.
Entertainment. Almost All My Heart. So come see Yo Short Man and Almost All My Heart. Not entirely sure what it's about, other than it has a character that may or may not be the devil.
You'll find out. That's a good mister. Yeah, it's better than any kind of bullshit M. Night Shyamalan twist that's going to be in there. M. Night Shyamalan twist. What if his whole head was a nose? And what if he smelled crime, bro?
What if he literally took a bite out of crime?
Oh, that's good.
He would just find criminals and bite them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's it. He wouldn't arrest them or anything. He would just bite them.
Let them remember. Mark them. It's like Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Here we go. I found the official website for the New Jersey Fringe. The first ever New Jersey Fringe Festival is set to take flight from the Eagle Theater in Hamilton, New Jersey, with upwards of a dozen different cutting-edge productions playing around the city, encompassing theater, dance, and more. This weekend-long event is also slated to have artists, food vendors, a beer garden, musicians, and more lining the streets, and all shows are within walking distance of the Eagle Theater. Jersey Fringe has teamed with 16 producing organizations to fill out the fest with an eclectic lineup of great entertainment, and your festival wristband gets you into all performances throughout the exciting inaugural weekend.
Bam! Inaugural weekend.
Because it's the first time they're doing it.
Oh, okay.
It's the first
I was
ever.
gonna say, what is this, like the fucking Renaissance Fair? How long are these guys doing this shit, dude?
No, inaugural means it's the first. The first ever New Jersey Fringe Festival. So there's the plug. If you haven't figured out, I'm really trying to push you guys to come and see it.
Ethan is really into people seeing plays. That's the whole thing.
Because plays are great.
And all of his Ethan pals are into these plays too. I mean, these plays they're probably good. The other one was
You
pretty
go and see a movie, and that movie will be the same every single time. Go and see
That's
a play.
true.
That play will be slightly different every single time.
And it's true.
Like the
Sometimes-
play I was just in over the weekend, the one I was talking about, The Last Moment.
Yeah.
This past Sunday, on the performance, in the middle of performance, power went out.
What do you do when that happens?
Well, they were about to carry on and just keep going in the dark, but then the theater people, the people who own the theater, said, give us a couple seconds, we'll try to get the power back on. They got the power back on. They restarted the scene, but when they restarted the scene, they started making jokes about the power going out. Like the guy's on his computer is like, oh, Russia, we'll knock their lights out.
Okay. Wasn't there a show back in high school where somebody fell off the stage in the middle of the whole thing?
Oh yeah, MASH.
Yeah.
That was he had a Frankenstein mask on, and he couldn't see very well, but he had like mapped out how he was supposed to move around the stage.
Okay.
But then unfortunately someone had moved a box this particular time that he tripped over. And then tripping over ruined all of his footing, and he went to take one too many steps and fell right off the stage.
Ah, hilarious.
And then got up and tried to run off, but he didn't know which way he was facing and ran smack into the baby grand piano.
That's excellent live theater, right?
And then he just stayed there. Luckily, that was the end of the act. That was the end of Act 1. And so he's just stayed there, and then a teacher went down, check on him, and he was like, I'm okay. I was just playing it off. And then he got up and came back.
I was just playing it off. That was an excellent impersonation of this mysterious person. Yeah, so yeah, go see those plays. They're probably good.
There was another high school one where a guy comes out with a tray of drinks. Yeah. And his character's supposed to say, oh, here comes the Jefferson Special. And then one time he dropped the entire tray and all the glasses shattered. And he goes, there goes the Jefferson Special.
What about this one where the people were supposed to take you out on a table?
Oh, yeah. There was, okay, I died in this show. And then the rest of the characters are supposed to, in the script, carry me off stage. But I'm too large for the people that they had cast to carry me all the way off stage. And so instead, they lifted me up and put me on a rolling table. But each time, they kind of just dropped me on the table instead of gently placing me on the table, which I'm a big guy. They were probably just like, okay, drop him. Fuck it. I don't feel like holding him any longer.
Not doing this anymore.
I don't feel like carrying him that weight any longer than I absolutely have to. And then the very last night, closing night, they dropped me on that table and wheeled me off. As soon as I'm off stage, table breaks. That table knew exactly how long it needed to last.
You got lucky.
I did.
It could have wound up being an awkward scene to play off. They would have had to drag you off or something.
They probably would have had to drag me off. What would have been the more difficult thing was me not reacting because I'm supposed to be dead.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The table mod just breaks and I just like, ah.
No, yeah. We've talked about that before. You told me that you would just have to fall.
Yeah, you just have to fall.
Oh, that's some balls. That's some serious acting integrity right there. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That would hurt. That would not feel good.
No, it wouldn't.
Alright. I'm trying to think if there's any more hilarious stage stories.
I'm sure there are. I just can't think of any right now.
Wow.
There was the time that in the very first show I did in high school that someone was late for an entrance, and so two of the other characters just like made up a whole conversation to have to fill time until the guy showed up, and they were like talking about the guy who was late. And then they just started talking about his penmanship because he was like applying for a job there.
Okay.
And like it was Nicholas Nickleby, Charles Dickens. So it was taking place in like Victorian England. So they're like, oh, and look at his penmanship. It's so nice. Like, see how his eyes do this and this? And they just talked about his penmanship for like a minute, waiting for the guy to come out.
Oh. These actors. Good on their feet.
They gotta be.
That's why we need you for these videos. So you can just make up all the lines I don't feel like writing.
Which is what I have been doing.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it. It's a good way. But, I don't know, we're about at an hour. We can end this episode here.
All right, then let's do it.
On that note. Unless you have anything else to throw in there other than that Fringe Festival.
Not really. I mean, I can start talking about Captain America, but that's a whole other thing that we don't need to get into right now.
Okay, yeah. We're going to have to say that for next time. I forgot about that. We meant to talk about that.
Captain America, not quite a Nazi like everyone thought.
Yeah. Well, do you want to save it?
Nah, I will save it.
Okay. Well, on our next episode, hear about how Captain America is apparently not a Nazi. I don't know anything about this, so it's
depending on your point of view.
Okay.
And I'll let that just be mysterious.
All right. Yeah.
Or you can just go and read Captain America Steve Rogers issue number 2.
But don't do that. The best way to get the information is from the An Evening with the Peppered Sausage podcast.
Let Ethan tell you all the stuff that happens.
Exactly. He is the one that you want to know. He's going to be the one that ends up playing Captain America eventually anyway, and writing all the Captain America. It's just going to happen. Ethan likes Captain America that much. You know it's going to happen. Just let Ethan tell you.
I really don't. I mean, he's cool and all. But I didn't even read a Captain America book until this whole thing started.
I mean, I feel you. I feel like most people should be.
But that just means that they're doing their job right. Because they
Yeah.
did that initial shock thing, like, oh, Captain America might be Hydra. And that just made me like, okay, I got to read this fucking comic book now. And then I got to read, and then I had to read the second one because I had to know how they were going to write themselves out of this one.
They'll figure it out. They'll switch some dimensions. Or
They
something.
have already figured it out. Apparently they had it figured out since the beginning. Because there's no way that this book wasn't already at least started working on when the last one came out.
Oh yeah, dude, they don't just do it on the
Yeah,
fly
exactly.
like that. No, they got them all planned.
This one, like, almost the entire book is
They got bosses
explaining
they gotta submit
just
this
what
shit to.
happened.
Yeah. There's people with money they gotta hand this stuff into. Contracts need to be signed. Either way, we'll talk about it next time.
On An Evening with Peppered Sausage.
Yes. And in the meanwhile, you gotta go and like us on Facebook. There you're going to get a little bit of information about this Peppered Sausage movie that we're in the middle of making that's going to be coming your way in the future. Hopefully not that long from now. It's going to be fucking
Hopefully
great.
by the end of the year.
Exactly. Well, that's the plan, hopefully. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. But it's coming either way. Don't even worry about that. But you can see pictures from it on Instagram. You can see me saying random one-sentence things about how I was making it on Facebook. And that's cool. And you can also listen to this podcast and see all our videos. You got to keep watching the videos. Support the videos. You understand what I'm saying? Subscribe. Like everything. And we'll see you guys next time. And I'm Chris.
And I'm Ethan.
All right. Good night.